For you, for your family, for your future. InvestView. Invest in you.
We're just kicking off hour 2 of a liquid lunch on Newsmax TV. Usually on Wednesday, we have Women Wednesday. As you know, we highlight the accomplishments and perspectives of women in philanthropy and business and politics and the arts and all that good stuff. To me, that's the best show of the week. Okay? I usually say it's going to be a fire-breathing dragon of a show. This is an actual fire-breathing dragon of a show. And Carol Alt is having so much fun, she said she'll stay with us a little longer. Martha Bennett is in town. Martha there. And ladies, for your viewing pleasure, I bring back the Frankster himself.
Ladies, it's great to see you both.
Zone. So, Frankie, what's happening? I mean,
Well, obviously, the day's top story is the story of this Ukrainian plane that was shot down over Iran, which now American officials are saying was the result of an Iranian missile strike. The Iranians are saying that's absolutely not the case, but we're going to keep monitoring that throughout the show. But, Carol, it's great to see you again. Not only, as you know, am I an admirer of your work as an actor, as a model, as a personality, but I really am such an admirer of not only your charitable work, but your passion for public health. Now, the last time that I had a full cup of coffee is when you and I co-hosted a radio show together back in May. I know there are a lot of coffee drinkers in our viewing audience. Why is coffee not high on your list of things that people should be consuming?
Well, I think that people are way too acidic today. They're very stressed, and what coffee does is it kicks your adrenals. And once it's kicking your adrenals, then it speeds you up. It makes you even more aggressive. And that's not good for the body. Anything inflammatory, if you are an inflammatory kind of person, a type A personality, anything like that is not good for your health. It really causes inflammatory disease. In my book, that's why I don't drink. You know, it takes 35 cups of alkaline water to neutralize 1 cup of coffee?
Well, you can understand why I was so upset when someone stole my Essentia on Wednesday. I left a bottle of Essentia here, and it was pilfered by my intern, Jessica.
There's a big caper going on. Frank's bottle of alkaline-free water got stolen from the fridge.
Oh, okay,
and the suspect did confess and turn himself in, so the universe is right. So I drink about 48 ounces, like 2 big, giant 24-ounce jugs of Dunkin' Donuts in the morning. You know, that's not good for me? You don't think?
Listen, you know, everybody has to choose their own way, John.
That's
and
right.
You know, coffee is just, it's very acidic. And you know, for me, I'm such an acid personality. No comments. That wasn't a lead into a pun. But you know, I need more alkaline stuff. And you know, as long as you choose from education, that's all I care about. I'm just educating people. If you're an alkaline personality, coffee can be good for you. It can pick you up. It can balance out your alkaline. But if you're already an acid type A type person like I am, you know, you want to balance it out with more alkaline.
Definitely.
No, she looks more alkaline. Look at how relaxed she is. She's like totally relaxed.
But no, and that's caffeine not just in coffee but in tea as well, right? Like black tea.
Yes, like black tea as well. But you know, green tea has a little bit of caffeine, but green tea is supposedly so good for you with antioxidants and all that stuff. I drink a white jasmine pearl.
I've had a white jasmine pearl. It's delicious
the same as green tea, but no caffeine.
I created my own tea. Actually, right here, there's a one of these like socialist type coffee shops next door where they do
that to show up on my doorstep for staying the second hour of the show.
But I take a peppermint tea that's decaffeinated and mix it with a Jack Frost tea that is caffeinated. I do the double combo, caffeine.
So why are you drinking the double large, extra wide Dunkin' Donuts
That's what I
in the
need
morning?
to get the engine started these days, Carol.
Okay, so I have one question for you. So a lot of people make New Year's resolutions, right? I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to be in the best shape of my life.
Oh no, don't ask me.
But so often people fail to maintain those resolutions, right? So what advice can you give, millions of Americans that want to keep those resolutions?
I'm going to give the same advice as I give to people who want to start eating more healthy diets. You can't just do it out of the box cold turkey. You have to, especially if you're going to eat raw or something like that, you need to look around, see what kind of food you like, gather them up, get rid of the old stuff, and wean yourself off of it and slowly build it into your diet. Same thing with working out. If you decide you're going to run the marathon tomorrow, you have already sabotaged yourself. You need to say, you know what, I'm going to run from here to the end of the corner, and then I'm going to run from here to the end of 2 blocks, and then I'm going to run a half a mile, and then I'm going to run a mile, and you build yourself up so that you don't set yourself up to fail.
Now, when you say you're a raw foodie, for folks that don't know what that means, what is raw food?
It means I'm a cuckoo about my diet, really, Frankie. I'm crazy about food because food for me is the most powerful medicine you can ever have. I had severe health issues. I don't really like to go into it, but I had severe health issues. And I was able to turn all of that around with my diet. If a diet can do that for someone who is that ill, can you imagine what it could do for a person who's just motoring along and saying, I need to feel better, I need to have more energy, I need to get out of my bed without coffee and still feel the same as if I took a coffee? Then that's all diet, because a good diet can rebuild your body.
Let me ask you to
Maybe you can mentor me.
I can absolutely.
Maybe you can mentor me.
If you would have told me, I would have brought some books over for you.
But let me ask you two very powerful, influential, independent women about a story that has something to do with the news and something to do with women's issues that's just breaking. Mike Bloomberg, who's obviously run for president now, he's telling ABC News just moments ago that he will not release the women who have signed secrecy agreements with his company about past allegations that he fostered a hostile work environment for some female employees. Irrespective of how either of you may feel about Mike Bloomberg, do you think that, and his candidacy, do you think that the voters maybe have a right to know what was in these agreements?
That's a really good question.
Well, I have a law degree, and I feel like there's two issues there. One is, there's privacy of the women too, right? I mean, it could very well be that the women don't want to have their names released, and they may have signed some sort of a, non-disclosure agreement that says that they're not able to. I mean, that's very possible, particularly if the women were paid a settlement because it was a hostile environment and they had, in order to keep them quiet or to settle the case.
That appears to be the case.
Right.
They got a settlement.
So, if that's the case, then if the women don't want to have their name released, absolutely, their name shouldn't be released.
Carol, it's day 3 of the Weinstein trial.
Right.
So it looks like it's a day of reckoning for like a whole career of Weinstein not exactly doing the right thing.
I think this is such a complicated conversation. And first of all, we need more beautiful women who are lawyers. Awesome. I think it's a way more complicated question than what we're putting out there. Did this guy actually do something? Did this girl actually, accept to do what he asked? There's so many side stories and side issues. And by the way, I was one who said no when asked, not particularly by Harvey, but, in this industry, you're always asked and it's always a choice. And, I'm somebody who said no. So, I know it happens all the time. It's a very scary moment for men. I know my doctor won't come into his office without an assistant with him. Men don't want to be alone in an office, right? Am I
That's
wrong?
right.
They're afraid to hire women. So I think there's going to be some backlash on this too. And all I can hope is that, somehow, some way, we get through this quagmire and that we begin to see each other for the people we are, not man, woman, gay, straight, but just for the people that we are. I mean, even with the what's happening with the Hasidic Jews, I mean, it's just all so horrible. Why can't we just be people and get along and hire the best person for the job? That's really what it should be.
There was recently a study by McKinsey, I think, one of the big consulting firms, and they were saying that like 80% of CEOs polled were saying they would be less likely to travel for business with a female counterpart, even if they were on the same level. Because there's such a hyper environment now. It's not like guys are trying to discriminate, but you just don't know. Sometimes we had Alan Dershowitz on, and his new book is out, Guilty by Accusation. It seems like that's the climate right now. It kind of almost works. You won't see women come forward, and they did the whole Me Too, but it almost kind of has the opposite effect on opportunity for women. Well,
we had Alan on the radio show last week, and he's being represented by Arthur Aidala, so he's got very good representation. But he did say that. He said, the minute somebody accuses, you're already guilty. You're already guilty. And now people are saying, well, you knew, so you're guilty. Well, you don't know what I knew. How do you know what I knew? And people are pointing the fingers at I have girlfriends who are being accused of things. I'm being accused of things. I mean, everybody who can point a finger at somebody famous.
They're accusing you, Carol.
Yeah, you get all kinds of stuff. So
you're sexually harassing men? I can find this hard to believe.
Where does John sign up for that?
I already tried to get a tutoring session with you on my nutrition.
Yes, on your new diet. It's just a very complicated question.
And it's the
And
case,
heated.
yeah,
And heated.
And it's the case for every industry. So, the fashion world and the beauty world, you have faced that. Certainly in politics, I mean, there's a reason in politics why they say, if you want a friend in Washington, get a dog, right? We have 3 German Shepherds, by the way, but they say get a dog. Because you're right, there's a lot of that. And because social media, a story can spread in social media like rapid fire.
Like rapid fire.
And so, guilty by accusation.
You're guilty before you were ever tried.
That's right.
It happens. It's happening.
And they lose their jobs, they lose their benefits, they are out of public favor, and they can't get a job. I mean, it's really
Frankie,
difficult.
you were really aggravated when the congresswoman from California stepped down for having a consensual relationship.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who cares what goes on in people's bedrooms? That's my attitude with respect to that case. Obviously, assault's another matter.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
obviously. I mean, we're
I-
talking about
okay.
consensual. Yeah, of course.
We all agree on that. I ring the bell when all the guests agree
Okay.
on something. Frankie doesn't like if I overuse the bell either, but that could be the best bell ring you ever saw, because I'm sitting here with Carol Alt and Martha Bonetta. Frankie's over there, and we just completed a fire-breathing dragon of a Thirsty Thursday segment. And we're going to come back right after this, see if we can top it. I doubt it, but we're going to bring you all the news of the day. Derek, my brother's the man on the street, and it's all going to happen right here, right after this.